With the new GC Quad, you're still focusing on the camera-based system, and you feel it's the best system in the world. In our testing, we found something very similar, but one of the things that our readers want to know is really about the differences. So can we kind of go over some of the differences between camera and radar? Sure. And what benefits you might see from a camera-based system?
Sure. So with our camera-based systems, we're able to lock onto the golf ball or the club head in 3D space. And since we're able to do it high resolution and high frame rates, we're able to characterize more accurately than any other technology or device, whether it be another camera system or radar, to characterize that, that data and that performance.
When we've seen all the devices out there, and we tested them side by side personally, but they all give you similar information, but the information isn't the same. And that's kind of where we came to Foresight for, or why we came to Foresight for. When we were looking at the information and comparing them, they were kind of all trying to get to the Foresight numbers. Every system, as I guess is the best term for it, uses some sort of algorithm. But the camera is the only one that can pick up the impact area, correct?
Yes. So in the case of radar, they do a good job of tracking the golf ball in 3D space and characterizing what a ball travels in 3D space, what that looks like. They've done a good job also creating algorithms to pull out and calculate spin. TrackMan does it one way by my understanding, and FlightScope does it another. But essentially they do a good job of tracking the golf ball. Where we excel is characterizing the launch condition of the golf ball. So the spin, angle, and velocity we can do to the highest level of accuracy and resolution. Then with the use of reflective dots, we're able to characterize and triangulate the face plane of the driver and its delivery into the golf ball as well. We give all the information based on modeling all of the images that come into the ball in relation to the club head. And with that information, we characterize every aspect of that delivery in 3D space. Things that aren't even generated or understood yet, we capture and we will publish in the future through the use of our advisory board and the Peak initiative and seminars and program. We'll be able to characterize things and explain in better detail with higher resolution information about the club head and the golf ball unlike you've ever seen before.
One of the things that was the most intriguing to me was, I'm a camera guy, and I've been through the tour of your facility, and it's pretty impressive because I don't think people realize all the stuff's made here.
Yep.
But watching the impact in the high-speed camera is unlike anything I've ever seen. I think it's a common misconception that when you're using a radar system that it's tracking the ball the whole way, because it is, but you're getting that information based on a certain amount of travel time.
Yep.
When you're using the camera, and I guess spin is a perfect example because spin is discussed so heavily with distance and by amateur golfers and golfers of all levels. The spin is the easiest to quickly look at and say, well, if I lower that, I'm going to get more distance. If I raise that, it's going to fly higher. Mm-hmm. Yours is right on the nose from what we've tested. Do you believe that the camera just does that better?
Yep, that's a good question. So here's an example. Radar systems use cameras as a standard to calibrate their radar.
That's interesting.
Right? And so our competitors actually have our technology and use it to understand better and characterize their algorithms to do better in their calculations when we measure those things. So that, to the point, the specific point is we measure those things and see those things in 3D space. We're not calculating and, well, we're not extrapolating or interpolating this information, we're modeling this information. And modeling is that when you have high resolution and you have defined points that you're measuring in space to a high level of precision, we can characterize that in a model. And so at any point along that model, doesn't matter where the club head is in 3D space or the golf ball, we can say exactly what the rotation, velocity, and angle is of the ball, or any aspects of 6 degrees of freedom in a club head. So that is the XYZ coordinates of the club as it comes in through 3D space. And so, and then also the face plane, and it's yaw, pitch, and roll, or loft, lie, and face angle.
When you look at the overall landscape of I don't want to call them devices, but we'll call them systems. When you look at the overall landscape, how close are we to where you're going to see these at every driving range and be able to grab that? You know, we're pretty close now because I've been to a few ranges that have your system in place, and it's pretty neat to drop it down there and realize how bad we all are. But how close are we to where that's going to be the reality?
I would say data capture and accurate information on the launch condition in the club, probably within the next 2 years, it'll be fairly common in the United States and in various parts of the world.
And lastly, we have to talk about the quad a little bit because it's the most fascinating device. It looks neat. It does its job. I'm telling you guys, it is so accurate. But there's nothing else that can be added. You've done it. You've figured out how to put everything together. What can be next? Or is this what you guys envisioned is the perfect device?
Well, let me explain a little bit about how the quad works and why it's even an advancement over the GC2 and HMT. So when we combine the two technologies into one, so the head tracking and the ball tracking, we made it so these 4 cameras that are called quadrascopic are looking at the same images in 3D space at the same time. So both the club head and golf ball. Because of their perspectives, so a camera looking from this perspective and one from another perspective and from other perspectives, that gives us high resolution in looking at subtle changes in angle, rotation, and movement and speed. That's even greater than the GC2 and HMT. 10 to 20 times more information than we were getting with the previous product because of that perspective. And we've increased the amount of information because of wide angle lenses give us more information of the golf ball and of the club head. And again, more accuracy and precision are derived from that because of the modeling of both the ball and the club. That, and we've also added a barometer that measures barometric pressure, so outdoor conditions we can measure. That
was one of the coolest parts that I found out is you adding the barometer.
Yeah.
With the GC Quad just now coming out, it's shipping, and the early feedback you're getting is substantially better than what you already had, which was a fantastic product. And a lot of people say the standard when doing fittings and things like that in stores everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. So the GC2 has probably sold more golf equipment than any other product in the world in history of launch monitor technology. We came in at a great time with a great product that was reliable and cost effective in mainly the indoor environment, and that helped us capture that level of understanding. And then customers that would come into locations would trust the data because they'd say, yep, that's what my shot looks like on the screen. I could see I hit a little bit of fade, I hit a little bit of draw, I hit a hook, or I hit a slice, whatever the case. And they would trust it by knowing, yep, those are my distances and that's my shot shape. And then building forward onto that with the advancement of aligning, the alignment feature built into the quad to be able to make sure you effectively and accurately align to a target, whether it's indoors or out. And then the greater field of view, and then the ability to increase resolution and those measurements into one product. Yes, the feedback has been overwhelming. Right now, we used to have this saying where we'd say they're just flying off the shelf, but now we say they don't even make it to the shelf.
Right. So, yeah. Finally, this is just the beginning for GC Quad. We've talked about updates with games and things like that. The capabilities of this device are through the roof. What kind of time frame are we looking at with some of these updates?
The updates in software?
Correct.
So by the next PGA show and by the year, we'll have new, probably up to 8 to 10 new gaming applications. And then there's features that we're adding in. One that's very prominent for us and will have a great impact on the golf industry, especially in fitting, is a putter application. So the quad will be able to characterize the delivery of the putter head in 3D space and capture all the information that we do currently about other equipment, whether it's a wedge, an iron, or a driver. So then we'll be able to characterize the launch condition of the golf ball and over about 2.5 foot of its roll and hop or whatever the case is, characterizing what that performance looks like. Our bigger challenge will be in educating on how to use that information and how it can apply to research for the golf club manufacturers, how it will apply in fitting, and how it will apply in instruction. But there's this huge opportunity that both will take the quad which is very capable of going indoors and out, whether you're on a putting green at the PGA Tour event or whether you're indoors at a retail location doing fitting. It's going to help with understanding how to better fit a putter to a player, and then ultimately sell more putters in the industry and help out the consumer.